The old, cramped courtroom at the city hall felt colder than usual that morning, like the room itself was bracing for trouble. Outside, heavy rain hammered against the tall windows, leaving streaks that blurred the view and cast shifting shadows on the shiny floor. People on the benches whispered quietly, glancing nervously toward the front. At the defendant's table sat Sergeant Marcus Hayes, a 41-year-old veteran who had served 2 tours overseas. His broad shoulders had shrunk a bit with time, and the sun-darkened color of his skin had faded. A heavy brace wrapped around his right leg, and his crutches leaned against the table. His face showed the wear of a man who had lived through hardships no one should face, but he held himself steady and calm. His uniform wasn't new or spotless, but every crease and badge told a story of honor and sacrifice. Marcus wasn't here for any serious crime. Instead, he faced court for missing 2 hearing dates because of unpaid parking tickets. The citations had piled up as he struggled to get around the city's complicated public transport, a system not built for someone with his injuries. It was clear the court didn't really care about the challenges he faced. The judge presiding was Helena Carr, known for being tough and unforgiving. She was all business, strict, cold, and quick to demand obedience. To her, skipping a court date was simple, a violation that deserved punishment. At the prosecutor's table, young Assistant District Attorney Eric Moore looked bored, convinced this case was an easy win. "Order in the court," called the clerk as Judge Carr entered. Her black robe swept behind her like a dark shadow. She scanned the list, then said in a sharp voice, "Sergeant Marcus Hayes, you stand accused of contempt for failing to appear in court." "How do you plead?" she asked. Marcus struggled to stand, one hand gripping the table, the other on his crutch. "Not guilty, Your Honor," he replied quietly but firmly. Judge Carr frowned and flipped through the documents. Excuses have been heard before. Contempt is contempt. You were ordered here, and you didn't come. "I tried, ma'am," Marcus began, but she cut him off with a raised hand. "We'll move on to sentencing. Your military service is noted. I am inclined to be lenient, but this court demands respect. You will stand without aid, like any citizen, or face further contempt." The room fell tense. Marcus hesitated, knowing standing unaided could worsen his injuries. His doctors warned him not to risk it, but the judge repeated sharply, "You will stand, or I will hold you in contempt." Murmurs spread through the courtroom. Even the prosecutor's smug smile faded. Marcus looked down at his injured leg, the brace creaking under pressure. Slowly, with a grim expression, he set his crutches aside. Everyone watched. He planted his good leg, then forced his injured leg to support him. His muscles tensed, his face clenched tight. For 3 painful seconds, he swayed but stayed upright. Then suddenly his knee gave out. The courtroom gasped as Marcus collapsed, his shoulder hitting the floor hard. His crutches clattered away. A woman cried out in the back. A veteran in the gallery clenched his fists, standing up ready to rush forward. Even the prosecutor flinched. But then, something powerful happened. Marcus, still trembling and breath ragged, tried to push himself up. He refused to quit, because he was a soldier, and soldiers don't give up. "Bailiff," Judge Carr said sharply, "assist the defendant." The bailiff, a gray-haired man with kind eyes, knelt beside Marcus. "Easy now, son," he said softly. "I can do this," Marcus rasped. "No," came a voice from the doorway. A woman rushed in, his younger sister, Anna. She wore a nurse's uniform, her face streaked with tears. "Don't move," she begged, dropping to her knees. "You've done enough." Anna wrapped her arms around him, whispering comfort. The judge stayed silent. The prosecutor looked away. The room saw not a criminal, but a hero lying on the floor, one who had given far more than most and still fought to rise. One by one, veterans in the gallery stood. No yelling, no chaos, just quiet respect and defiance. "Sit down," Judge Carr commanded. They didn't. An elderly woman stepped forward, medals pinned to her chest. "My grandson died in combat," she said, her voice shaking. "If he saw this, how you treat a wounded soldier, he'd be ashamed." A wave of agreement rippled through the crowd. The judge's gavel hit the bench, trying to restore order, but the silence was broken only by the low rumble of voices. A veteran near the front growled, "He gave his leg for this country, and now you punish him for not standing." From the jury box, several jurors rose in solidarity. The bailiff helped Marcus sit up again. "We'll do this your way, Sergeant." Together, Marcus and Anna rose slowly. The courtroom no longer belonged to Judge Carr. It belonged to Marcus. The judge looked around, pale and shaken. The crowd began to chant, "Honor him! Honor him! Honor him!" She glanced at the prosecutor, who was quietly stepping back, shame clear on his face. Marcus, still weak, reached out and placed a hand on the judge's arm, a silent act of forgiveness. The rain had stopped. Sunlight spilled through the windows, warming the room. Outside, a crowd had gathered, veterans in uniform, civilians waving flags and handmade signs. "Respect our veterans' true courage." When Marcus wheeled out of the courthouse, the street fell silent, then erupted into steady, heartfelt applause. A reporter pushed forward. "Sergeant Hayes, what do you want people to remember?" Marcus took a breath. "I didn't stand because a judge told me to. I stood because that's what we do. Even when we fall, we get up." He paused, voice steady but eyes shining. "Sometimes when we can't stand, it's not weakness. It's proof we gave everything." His words spread quickly. On TV, social media, in classrooms and courts. Laws were reviewed. Policies changed. Marcus returned to quiet life, but it didn't last. One evening, a knock came at his door. Anna opened it to find 3 officials, including a poised woman named Valerie Ellis from the Veterans Affairs Office. "Sergeant Hayes," she said kindly, "we'd like to invite you to serve as a national ambassador for veterans' rights." Marcus was stunned. "I'm no politician." "You don't need to be," Valerie said. "You just need to be yourself." He thought of the courtroom, the faces, the friends he'd lost. "I'll do it." From that day forward, Marcus traveled the country. Crowds grew. Courthouses changed. Cities honored veterans every day, not just once a year. One mayor even banned any judge from forcing a wounded veteran to stand. Marcus visited Arlington Cemetery, placing poppies on graves, whispering names: David, Lisa, Carlos. "This isn't a memorial," he told the crowd. "It's a promise." One morning, back at the old courthouse, a statue stood where the front steps once were, a soldier on one knee, crutches held like swords. The plaque read, "True dignity is not in how long a man stands, but in how fiercely he refuses to fall." Marcus touched the cold bronze, Anna by his side, tears in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. "I never stood alone," he said. Under the rising sun, he saluted the battles that brought him home, not whole, but unbroken, always standing, even from his knees. Marcus's journey showed true strength isn't just standing tall. It's rising again despite every fall. His courage sparked change, reminding us all that honor lives in perseverance and unwavering spirit.